I'm not about to give up because I heard you say there's gonna be brighter days. There's gonna be brighter days. I won't stop, I'll keep my head up. No, I'm not here to stay. There's gonna be brighter days. There's gonna be brighter days. I just might bend, but I won't break. As long as I can see your face. When life won't play along and right keeps going wrong and I can't seem to find my way. I know where I am found, so I won't let it drag me down. No, I'll keep dancing anyway. I'm gonna move, move. I'm gonna move, move. I'm gonna move, I'm gonna move.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining our membership meeting this afternoon, though I went out to look for other members who probably lost because they're used to going upstairs, our usual venue in the, what's that, on the second floor? Conservatory. Well, anyway, we can no longer wait because I think there's a lot of things that we need to discuss, plus the introduction of, you know that this is the year wherein CCAP will be doing our election for the next set of Board of Officers. So I'm going to introduce you the candidates. And we invited some speakers, also to discuss certain topics when it comes to procurement and profitability, which are very important and crucial in our companies. Of course, saving money is a serious business. Of course, anything that will save us some money, we love to listen. Right, so and then I think there's some agenda on the Procurement Council that the Procurement Council, our team in CCAP, will be discussing as well. So, and by the way, we would like to thank Globe Business for sponsoring our membership meeting this afternoon. Let's give a round of applause. Sheila and the Globe team, thank you so much for supporting CCAP and our industry. So, without further ado, I'd like to call Dana. Dana, thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dana Moldes, Vice Chairman for CCAP Procurement Council. I'm here to introduce our speaker for today. So our theme is the role of procurement in the profitability and growth of the company. So our speaker serves as the Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer of DTSI Group, an entity communication company known as the country's premier full-service provider and business enabler of IT BPO and global in-house contact centers. So concurrent to this position, our speaker is also the General Manager of Anthem Solutions Incorporated and acts as head of the support services teams of the group. He was recently elected treasurer by the company's board of directors. He's a product of Far Eastern University, where he obtained his bachelor's degree in accountancy, having graduated as magna cum laude, and is a certified public accountant. He has held several general and financial management positions in various organizations, having been Chief Operating Officer, General Manager, Chief Financial Officer, Chief Information Officer, and Chief Risk Officer of several multinationals and large Filipino conglomerates. With all these experiences intact, he brings to the DTSI Group expertise in business operations, finance, accounting, strategic management, corporate planning, legal work, and leadership. He is mainly credited for strengthening the group's financial structure, which now had successfully grown into a multi-billion peso company. So it's my honor to introduce our speaker for today. Let's give him a big hand, Mr. Ernesto D. Manansala.
Thank you, Dana, for the kind introduction. I also would like to thank the organizing committee of CCAP, particularly Mr. Tony Sanoy, for inviting me as your resource person to speak on this timely, highly charged and controversial, if you will, role of procurement in an organization. No, I will not talk about any luxurious real estate or a parking building in my speech. To tell you the truth, at first I was hesitant in appearing before you and speak to you on this topic, as my company is known to many of you as one of your suppliers. And in my thoughts, you guys might use this as a leverage in the negotiation process. I am told that my audience are primarily from finance and procurement. If so, then we are speaking in the same lingo. So here we go. Most business leaders are so engrossed with the top line. Obviously, that can't be helped because if there is no top line, there is no middle line and no bottom line. I can see some raised eyebrows when I mention the term middle line. I'm sure all of you are familiar with the top line being the sales or revenue of the company, and the bottom line as the net income or net loss, depending upon your company's perspective. The middle line is the gross profit of the company, and this is where the role of the procurement person resides in an organization. Before I dwell on the importance of the role of a buyer in a company, allow me to destroy the myth that the buyer is just part of the expense account. That is totally unfair. What then is the role of the procurement, and why is it so important in the growth and profitability of a company? Again, before I answer that, let me clarify that each position in a company is important as each has a role to play in the organization. We will have no revenue to begin with if there are no salespeople who are pushing our products. We will have no products or services to sell if there are no production people or service delivery team who will consummate the transaction. We will have no production people or service delivery team if there is no HR team who will recruit, train, and retain the good people. We will have no good people if we do not have the finance people who will pay for their salaries, and so forth. And in that litany of functions, where does the essence of the procurement position lie? The answer is after sales, but before service delivery. Procurement sees to it that we have the right quality and quantity of materials necessary to manufacture our product. Not only does the buyer ensures the correctness and quantity, he also sees to it that these materials are bought at the best price possible, best stretched term, and delivered at the right time that we need it for production. These are tough acts to juggle, indeed. In order to perform these multiple acts effectively, the procurement person has to have the proper guidance from all concerned parties. First, how will he know if he's buying the right quality of materials from the R&D group or the product development team? Next, how will he know if he's buying the right quantity from the sales team through their periodic 60-day or 90-day forecasts? And from then, where will he get these materials at the best prices and terms? This will come from his own network of suppliers. The buyer has to dig deep into his supplier's base to be able to deliver the required materials at the best price at the right time. So how will a purchaser contribute to the growth and profitability of the company? The growth of the company is dependent on the sales turnover of the products and the profitability of that product it sells. Then we ask, what is sales turnover? It is how the market accepts your product or service. The requirement of the market has not changed over the years. Develop and sell a product or service that is good, if not excellent, at the cheapest price possible. And where the market acceptance of the product is great, make sure that product is available in the marketplace. Or else, your customer will look for its substitute at the time he needed it. And for all you know, you will have lost the customer at that time. And this is where the role of the procurement person is so important to the growth and profitability of the company. The buyer is given budgetary costs of the materials and supplies he needs to buy for the company. For every amount he successfully negotiates with the supplier relates to savings that will immediately impact the middle line and goes directly to improve the bottom line. As I have explained the role of the procurement to the growth and profitability of the company, It is therefore important that the buyer in our company possesses the following right DNA and skills. I have listed 10, ladies and gentlemen. High ethical standards, strong negotiation skills, deep knowledge of the material base, strategic alliance with key partners or suppliers using the supplier relationship management system, decision and problem-solving skills, interpersonal communication, common sense, influence and persuasion, conflict resolution, and strategic thinking. Allow me to expand on the first four. First, high ethical standards. Next to the CEO and the CFO, the buyer position is the most difficult position to fill in because of the sensitive nature of the job. You hire not only based on past experiences and qualifications, but rather, you hire based on character and integrity. Personally, I prefer to hire on character, and secondary is competence. The latter can be learned, but the former is innate to the person. As I earlier explained, all the savings generated by the buyer must go to the bottom line and should not go to his pocket. At DTSI, we require our employees to sign a statement of no conflict of interest. And particularly in our supply chain department, the employees in that department further sign a statement of anti-graft and corruption practices. Any violation on said policy will mean termination of employment. At DTSI, we take our time in filling in any vacancy in the procurement section. We do rigid interviews and subject the candidates to a thorough background check. And even if they are already in, these people are still subjected to lifestyle check. Next, negotiation skills. While leadership to some people is inborn, negotiation skill is something that is learned over time. To be able to achieve this skill, one should be able to express himself very well to another. In order to get to this level, the person must possess self-confidence, not necessarily a bolero. And in order to attain self-confidence, the person must come prepared for the negotiation meeting with sufficient, if not mastery of the subject to be discussed. Third, deep knowledge of the material base is necessary in case a purchaser cannot get the right price for the required material, despite being a master negotiator himself. He can then propose material substitute to the product development team for their evaluation. Who knows? This may just turn out to be for the better. In order to attain that level of confidence, the buyer must have immersed himself in the production process for him to gain sufficient knowledge of the materials to be required. Before you can establish a strategic alliance with your supplier, you need to form your own strategic sourcing plan. This will require you to have an organized, systematic, and collaborative way of corporate buying, aimed at reducing cost of the product and services by selecting the suppliers who are best suited to create knowledge and value in customer-supplier interface. The gemstones of strategic sourcing are the following: exploiting buying power through volume purchases, creating less complex ordering process by standardizing your specs or specifications or materials, use global sourcing to the hilt, and best price evaluation. A strategic alliance is a two-way communication. Both parties have to listen and understand each other's needs. When we establish strategic alliance with our key business partners, we provide a mechanism to ensure healthy relationship, which will then create the needed platform for problem resolution. And as we improve our strategic alliance with our partners, we continue to improve our goals through supplier development programs. I will talk about that in a bit. As we go through that development program, we evaluate the performance of our suppliers periodically or per project. That will foster further relationship, and at the end of the day, the objective is really to establish trust and collaboration. I earlier mentioned about supplier relationship management. One of its goals is supplier development, which aims to improve supplier performance to meet the company's needs, assess supplier operations, instigate competition among suppliers, and if necessary, incentivize best performance. To succeed in supplier development, the buyer has to do supplier segmentation, or that process of determining and classifying supplier relationship into levels of importance, such as integrated suppliers. These are the most carefully selected suppliers after several years of successful relationship. Critical supplier or your choice supplier, a good place to be for any supplier. Most relationship should be in this segment. However, there is another segment of critical supplier, which is the market-driven supplier. Avoid these suppliers at all costs, but because they are risky and may even create a bottleneck. And the fourth one is transactional, applicable for suppliers of commodity items. The first three segments comprise 80% of the financial value of all purchases made by the company. After that, the buyer must do supplier-based management and optimization. Under this process, we observe the best practice of reducing the existing number of suppliers to a significant few, the best in class and preferably world-class. Whereas before, the requirement is to have as many suppliers as you can, that is not the best practice anymore. Downsize the number from a minimum of 3 to a maximum of 5 suppliers. Whenever you can, form cross-functional teams amongst your suppliers. Then we go to the crux of supplier relationship management. We also call this as business partnership, because buyer and supplier treat each other as partners and not as transactional acquaintance. To achieve this, we should establish beneficial relationship. Take note, it is beneficial and not one way. Then we see to it that you establish a regular, open, and honest communication appropriate to the level of relationship. When you award a project, ensure both parties meet the commitments in the contract, meaning the burden is not only on the supplier, but also on the buyer. Then require the supplier to commit to continuous improvement and innovation. It's not about box pushing or selling on the part of the supplier. It is about understanding the present and future needs of the client company. I call this consultative selling. And because of this, mutual interdependence is developed and a higher level of trust is achieved. You focus more on the cost on the part of the company rather than the price of the product being offered. As the relationship with the suppliers strengthens, invest in that relationship, but keep in mind that you are likewise accountable for ethical business conduct. Lastly, as the relationship mature, there will be less adversarial negotiations because decisions will be based on TCO. TCO means total cost of ownership. Under this concept, you moved away from just looking at the lowest price, but rather on best value for money. Further, look at your internal process and do some process improvement by getting rid of those non-value added processes, as they entail cost as well. Evaluate the factors that make up the cost of buying goods and services. The formula for total cost of ownership is illustrated herein. Total cost of ownership equals acquisition cost plus operating cost plus training cost plus maintenance cost plus warehousing cost plus environmental cost minus the expected salvage value. You might have bought it at a low price, but the maintenance cost could be higher, or the installation cost could be higher. Then you manage business risk by ensuring contract compliance by both parties. Mitigate risk by standardizing your contract terms and conditions. And of course, avoid maverick purchasing. Those items ordered outside of the purchasing department by the Russians and the Argentinians. Also, optimize your inventory as much as possible. Do not buy for stocks. If you can, let your supplier be your warehouse. This way, you avoid warehousing costs and the cost of money in carrying excess inventory. And lastly, practice the very reason for the business of a BPO. BPOs were established because companies do not want to invest or spend in non-core assets, functions, or activities. On a higher level, the CEO and the CFO of a company would rather appropriate the cash to explore mergers and acquisitions within the industry while they look for a company that will foot their CapEx bill. Today we hear of managed services, as-a-service products, offerings, etc. Think about it. Would you rather invest your capital in core business than spend these precious resources in carpet, drywalls, furniture, computers, and phone sets? In finance, we call this capital preservation. Still another example. Is there a need to have an internal IT department if there are companies offering managed IT services? Savings is achieved through leveraging. Think about this. I hope I was able to properly explain the role of procurement in the growth and profitability of the company, as well as give the buyers present in this GMM some tips in best practices in procurement. Thank you for having me here. And as they say in Spanish, hasta la vista, amigos. Good afternoon, everyone.
Before we proceed to the Q&A portion, let me share you a survey we conducted like 3 weeks ago. Now, as a council, we launched a question to all members. Now, the question is, as the procurement leader or head of your company, describe your most significant contribution that would merit direct commendation from your company CEO or president. Now, several companies have participated, and we developed a one statement. So these are the companies who participated. Thank you very much, guys. Next. So the most significant contribution of a procurement leader is to maintain an efficient operation with the use of available resources that translates to maximum benefits and savings for the company. He or she should always maintain the good relationship with the vendors. The procurement leader must also leverage on industry best practices and profess the highest degree of values to promote conducive business environment and inclusiveness within the organization. He or she must develop also a creative and out-of-the-box procurement solutions that are flexible to meet the demands of the organization. So in a nutshell, that is the gist of the role of a procurement leader. Okay. Now, for the Q&A, may I enjoin the body to ask questions to our distinguished. So to start with, we have a phone-in question from the council members. First is, sir, can an organization be successful without a procurement leader, and why?
As I said in my speech, the procurement person is actually, the role of a procurement person is very important in the organization because he actually ensures the availability of resources that are necessary for production or service delivery. So if we do not have that, I cannot imagine us selling products or services. I cannot imagine finance being able to measure the performance of the company if there are no standards to begin with. The cost of sales in any company approximates about 50 to 80% of revenue. So that's a big chunk of responsibility in the person of the procurement person. of the procurement officer.
Sir, good afternoon. I'm Randy Piñol from Pacific Hub. My question is, what do you think are the traits of an excellent procurement professionals?
I listed 10 DNA and traits in my speech. I'd probably give you a copy of my speech, all of you a copy of my speech, so you can have that as your guiding principles when you hire your procurement person. Because in DTSI, at DTSI we have that as our guide when we hire people in purchasing.
So, ladies and gentlemen, now's the time where we also would like to thank our sponsor for the evening, and that's represented by Globe. Mr. Richie Ricafrente joined Globe Telecom back in 2006 as a solution specialist and is now a product manager with over 7 years' experience in providing targeted solutions to both enterprise and SME businesses. As product manager, he is responsible in managing and expanding Globe's unified communications and nomadic broadband portfolio. Let's give a welcome to Mr. Ricafrente.
So you may be wondering, what are the new services that we have in mind and what is our Globe Contact Center? So basically, I just want to give you a background. We're exploring, we actually checked our clients. So aside from providing our standard dial tone service, we're providing those voice trunks, ISD